Hello friends, subscribers and new viewers of this channel. In this tutorial, we will present some ideas on how to creatively use Flux, and we will demonstrate amazing capabilities of Flux. For those of you who are not familiar with Flux, Flux is a text-to-image machine learning model, and it works like this. Imagine that you want to create an image only from a user-defined text description. Well, Flux enables you to do that. Let me demonstrate this. You can simply write the text description of the desired image over here, and the Flux program will do all the magic. For example, over here I wrote the Macedonian phalanx at the Battle of the Cards against the Thracians in 335 BC. And simple as that. And I took actually this description from Wikipedia. And here is the description. Now, as the result, I obtained this. I obtained 3 images shown over here that are very realistic, and you can use them later on. In this tutorial, I will demonstrate one very interesting and amazing idea for using Flux. And of course, there are many more ideas. Namely, I will go over a historical Wikipedia page and I will take text descriptions from this page and I will generate images in Flux. I will also take complete paragraphs, such as for example this paragraphs or even this paragraphs, and I will modify them a little bit and we will investigate the results. To mention, I'm really surprised by the quality of the images and their relatively accurate descriptions of the text. You can use this idea if you're, for example, a history teacher. You can generate slides for your students that will be interesting to watch, and you can preserve students' attention. Also, you can use the ideas presented in this tutorial if you're interested in history and you want to study the history in less boring manner. You can create your own slides, and below these slides you can enter some text. Then you can use the ideas presented in this video tutorial if you want to create your own history YouTube channel, and you might use these slides if you want to, for example, combine some text with slides and with some nice description. In this tutorial, I'm actually running Flux 1 Schnell version of Flux in ComfyUI Graphics User Interface, or GUI. I created a separate video tutorial on how to install and run Flux 1 Schnell in ComfyUI. A link to that tutorial will be provided in the description below this video. Okay, let's start. Before we use descriptions from Wikipedia, let's run a simple test. Here it is. Here is the text of the image that I want to generate. Mosaic depiction of Alexander the Great. Only Alexander the Great is in the image and his horse. And before I start the process of generating the image, let me show you the parameters I'm using. I'm using the standard width and height, and over here I'm using batch size 3. This is because I want to generate 3 images. We can increase this, for example, to 4. Then over here I'm using the standard parameters. Then also this is the standard parameter, and over here I increase the number of steps to 11. Originally the number of steps is 4. Since it looks like that more steps generates better image. And to start image generation, I simply need to click here and it will start. And now over here in the background you can see what's happening. Here the model is being loaded and the image is being generated. And just to show you my computer specs, I'm using NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3090 with 24 GB of VRAM memory, and I have a computer that has 48 GB of RAM. RAM seems to be very important when you want to use ComfyUI and Flux 1 Schnell. It is suggested to have at least 32 GB of RAM, and you can see CPU consumption, memory consumption, and you can see the basically GPU consumption. You can see the memory of GPU is completely being full. This means that the image is being generated, and here it is. This will take some time since I'm generating actually 4 images, and it might even take a minute on this computer, since last prompt took around 64 seconds. So let's see this next prompt, how long will it take? And here are the resulting images. I have 4 images since I set the batch size to 4. So here is the first image, and clearly you can see that it's mosaic. It looks really nice. Here is the second image. You can see how nice it is, and these are actually high resolution images. You can see how the horse and Alexander the Great are nicely generated. This is maybe the most accurate representation, since it has this ancient time helmet. And here's another one. Although Alexander the Great was relatively young when he died, he was around 27 or 28 years old, I think. However, these are very good images, and you can easily save them. In my opinion, this might be the best image, so you can do the right click and you can save image, and then you can simply go to the folder and you can open the image. Here it is. And you can include this image in your PowerPoint slides or in your video or wherever you want. Next, let's use the Wikipedia descriptions to generate images. So go, for example, to your favorite history page on Wikipedia. I will go to the Alexander the Great. Then I'm going to scroll all the way down, and I'm going to find this paragraph about education. And this paragraph reads, when Alexander was 13, Philip began to search for a tutor and consider such academics as Isocrates and Spheseus. Okay, so I'm going to use this paragraph, and I'm simply going to copy and paste it into ComfyUI prompt, and let's see what we will get. Later on, we can modify this paragraph to get a better image, but for the time being, let's just use this paragraph. And over here, I'm not going to use 4 batch size, I'm just going to use batch size equal to 3, since it really takes a lot of time to generate 4 images. 3 is much faster. I don't know why is that. Only one image difference creates a big difference. Okay, so let's now click here to generate images. Okay, here are the generated images. This is the first image, and we can see a person studying something. Then we can see 2 scholars walking, and probably this statue over here is the statue of the famous Greek philosopher Aristotle. Okay, then we can see the second image. This looks like Pantheon in Greece, and probably some ruins of the famous philosophical school called Academy. And this can also be Academy in Old Greece. Let's go back to the text, and let's try to refine this text such that we get even better and more accurate images. Okay, so let's read this text and let's extract the main information from this text. Here it's actually written that Philip chose Aristotle and provided a temple of nymphs at Mieza as a classroom. Okay, this is very important. Okay. I'm going to erase the other part since we want to focus on this. And let's now erase this. This is not informative. Okay, so let's do this. Show young Alexander the Great and his philosopher, teacher, Aristotle. Let me just copy Aristotle. Aristotle is teaching Alexander the Great. They are located in, let me put this, in the temple of the nymph at Mieza as a classroom. Or we can say their classroom is the temple of Mieza, and let's erase this. Behind them, there is a statue of the famous Greek philosopher. Let me just correct spelling errors. Plato. Okay, so let's generate this and let's see what will happen. Click here and let's be patient. And here are the amazing results. This is the first image. This is obviously Aristotle, and this is young Alexander the Great. And behind we have the statue of Plato, and we are sitting in a temple. Then you have another image where you have obviously a younger version of Aristotle and Alexander the Great. However, we can improve this by specifying that Aristotle is older than Alexander. However, in my opinion, this is the best image, and this might be the best depiction of Aristotle. He really looks like a person from Greek or something like that, and this is young Alexander. The only issue I'm seeing here is this artificial ear. However, we can improve this, and you can see the statue of Plato in the background. This is truly amazing stuff. Truly amazing. Okay, let's now do one final check. That is, let's try to reproduce this image over here. I'll simply going to copy this text, then I'm going to ComfyUI, and I'm going to go to the prompt over here, and I'm going to paste the text over here, and I'm going to modify it a little bit. Entry of Alexander the Great into Babylon. We can put it like that, into the ancient city. Let me just correct this. Ancient city, or we can say into Babylon. Depict Alexander on the horse and depict his army entering Babylon. There is a crowd of people next to them. Okay, so let's do this, and let's click on Q prompt, and let's see what will happen. And here are the images. You can see the first image. Obviously we have Alexander, and we have his army, and we have the crowd around them. This is the second image. You can see also the crowd over here, and you have the third image over here. And of course you can improve these images by entering more text. Obviously Alexander has to be young, then we have to have some other things, etc. However, this is just a proof of concept, and you can improve these images later on. Okay, that's all for today. Thanks for watching.